in general. Not all of them, but most of them are of the new one. My name is Alexander Wolfsburg, and yes, as you can probably tell, and if you don't know what this is, because you've probably never seen it in your entire life, this is actually incredibly spoiler riddled. So I'm probably not going to do anything but stand in front of this. There, it's an alluvian, just in case you don't know what that is, and then you haven't played very far in the game. And put that over here. Now, where was I? Oh, okay. So, let's go ahead and start the review. So, first off, everyone knows who I am. If you're a subscriber, you know who I am. My name is Alexander Wolfsburg. Hopefully you'll join me later on. Go ahead and start. I'll start off with the boring stuff because everyone knows how this stuff goes. Like everyone else on YouTube, I have heard all the complaints and all the good things about the new movie, which I have seen, by the way. And no, that is not... Let's go ahead and clear some air here. 1, I could give 5 living hells about the girls being in the team, and I still think they did a great job. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy over the fact that this Ghostbusters is clearly not the same one. It's not anything like its predecessors. Now, we're going to get into that in a little bit later, because I actually have explanations on why. Theories, if you will, that actually pan out, and I've checked just in case they don't, but they do. They pan out very clearly. I'll tell you about them later. But let's go ahead and discuss the controversy. 1, most people, and first off, I watched a video by Nostalgia Critic, and he made a lot of good points. No one should really care what other people think about this movie, honestly. I mean, it's starting a fan war. A fan war between those who believe it should not be, who believes if you don't see the movie, you're a misogynist or you're not a real fan. And those who believe that all the Ghostbusters originals, anyone who loves that, should not like this movie. But here's the thing, guys. The old one was not horror, it was not sci-fi or fantasy. It was a comedy. In case you didn't notice, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, they're all comedians. It was a comedic movie. Just because the comedy has shifted doesn't mean it's not the same comedy ghost movie ever. Because it is. It's got the same logo, minus the bow tie, and of course it's not at all different. In case you don't notice, same librarian ghosts at this time as a wealthy heiress who died. Okay, who gives a shit? And by the way, if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch this because there's spoilers. If you don't want to hear about it, skip ahead later in the video and try to skip around a bit, and you'll probably find a point where I'm not talking about the movie. Try to do that. Good for you. Now, if you're just joining us, hopefully you'll listen to all this stuff before you get to this point, but that's good for you. Anyway, here's how I see it. Anyone who says anything like that about this movie is incredibly stupid. Now, no offense to the people, it's just what you're saying is stupid. If you think about it, no one's a misogynist if they don't want to go see the movie. The movie was not presented well. The trailer was not presented with the best effort they could have done. And it's also kind of, and don't get out your pitchforks yet, but it's also the fault of the people who, like Bill Murray, who did not bring Ghostbusters 3 back. Because if they had done that, this movie would have had a lot better plot. Because it would make more sense. Now, a lot about what discussions and chats and stuff we're going to have as soon as people join me here. And if you do join me and you want to chat, please send stuff in. I love hearing from people. Just one little tiny request. Don't start a fight. It's not pretty. It's not cool. And it's definitely hurtful, because no one wants to hear your stupid idea about how anyone who does like this movie is a little pansy, or anyone who doesn't like the movie is a misogynist. No one wants to hear that. Go home. Now, if you're going to come into the chat room, and you're going to be civil and actually understand everyone else's point of view and your own at the same time, everyone's going to have to be respectful here, because 1, I'm not here to start a fan war, I'm here to clear things up. Now, while I may actually fail at that sometimes, I'm going to try. And if it sounds like I'm out of breath, it's because I'm pacing, and I'm kind of nervous talking about a topic that so many people are so sensitive about, even now, after the movie's been released. Okay, let's get started. So, basically, here's where I stand. just because the movie is new and they got plenty of CGI, I'll admit, it's a lot of effects, and it was silly, and I love the silly. It was amazing. It was too funny. It wasn't serious enough. That's because it's not supposed to be serious. It's a comedy. It was always a comedy. The only reason it got serious was because of Ghostbusters 2. Otherwise, it's just supposed to be funny. Or at least dark comedy. That's all it ever has been. Here, 1 second. Hey, hey. Nick. There we go. Mystery Woman. How about that? That'll work for you?
That's
This woman. This is my going around about Ghostbusters, and if you the movie,
I thought it was awesome.
you thought it was awesome. Can you?
I like the three ladies in it.
It's okay, people. She has a Freudian slip every now and then. Too young. This lady here is wrong. Her. I'm sorry about it. If the bad reception is cut out here, let's just recap. My mother here, who also saw the Ghostbusters movie with me, and is a woman, if she thinks anyone who does this movie is a misogynist. Now, what's the answer? Yes. See, even my mom thinks that. Now, fan war.
I don't care.
She doesn't care. This is the kind of person. Because no, you're also a misogynist, or if you do the movie, you don't respect the fandom of Ghostbusters, and if you do see the movie, you're also a sissy. Now, that's actually, at least in context.
What's the next question?
Now, the next question is, could it have been because they did not display the movie as best of their ability?
Oh, because I know now what happened.
Okay, if you saw the, if you're watching the trailer, would that movie, and you were dedicated itself to be trailer is, when it opens up, it shows the whole years ago, a group of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Say the, and then it starts off being silly and it just shows these silly women doing things that, and it upset a lot of people because they believe that it shows what Ghostbusters really is. Now, a lot of people believe Ghostbusters is a horror or sci-fi or fantasy type thing. I'm trying to tell you it's a comedy. It's a comedy, yes?
Yes.
Realize it. When you look back, Aykroyd, Bill Murray, they're all comedians. So any it was a that's my mother. And then the actual the mic clearly.
All right.
Mother.
Yes.
Mystery Woman.
Yes.
Miss Woman.
Yes.
You were there when Ghostbusters first came out.
I was.
You've watched the movies.
I did.
Actually, a side question. Did you know that they made an animated series, not one, but 3,
I did
that
not.
were worse than the movies?
No, I did not.
They have no bearing on what the movies are now, but people still watch them and still like them. Why? They're horrible. They're horrible. But Ghostbusters 1 and 2 painted the series forward. Now, Ghostbusters, the new one that just came out,
Yeah.
would have had
Apparently, we missed something in the first and second one because I read why they jumped.
Yes. Did you know that it would have been easier explained, though, if they had done the third movie? Alright, well, people, I'm going to tell you all about that, and if you want to join me in, let me know.
All right, I'll let you know.
Alright, other than that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start talking to you guys again, and that was Miss Woman,
Yes.
my mother.
Yes.
We probably won't ever see her in any of my videos again. If we do, I'll let you know.
This is gonna be a. No, my hair is all yellow.
No one my mother just said, no, my hair is all a mess. No one can see her hair, and her hair looks fine, people.
It doesn't. And I don't have a makeup.
I am sorry about my mother. Alright, so basically, 1, respect your mothers, people. 2, if you are hearing this now, we're back, and here we go. This is the discussion and theory part. Now, I realize that no one has joined us yet, so you're probably going to go into the comments and comment and stuff. Go ahead and do that. Don't supply any hate to what I'm saying, because I'm just trying to clear the air and trying to get people to understand some stuff. Now, you heard me talk about the third movie they were going to make. This movie that came out is not the third movie. There is a reason they started all over again. 1, because if anyone ever went back and tried to research what the third movie was going to be and understood paradox, time, and different dimensions and the effect they have on a real world, here's where science comes in, so I'm sorry if this bores you, but you need to listen to it. Alright? Here we go. 1. Starting at number 1. I'm afraid no ghosts. No one gives a shit. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So basically, I'm going to get myself sore here talking so high, but hey, I'm going to continue anyway. 1. The Ghostbusters would have traveled to a different version of Manhattan called Hell Mountain or something like that. Anyway, it's a different dimension. It's a hellscape of Manhattan, and they would have started lives there. They tried to blend in because in that world, they are the ghosts. They are technically the ghosts, while the ghosts are the Ghostbusters. It's a weird version of the world that we live in, a reversal, if you will, where they have failed, where they did not exist. While they become the heroes there, they never get back to their world. It's from what I can tell. Now, anyone who understands paradox, dimension, and time travel and all that kind of stuff, which is hopefully is me, because I think I do. Now, bear with me on this, because this is about to get very complicated. Alright. 1. If Ghostbusters 3 had been made, it would have explained that why the Ghostbusters supposedly do not exist, why Bill Murray was a guy who did not believe in ghosts, why Dan Aykroyd was yes, and I did not know that was Dan Aykroyd. I am sorry about that. I'm saying his name weird because my voice is weird, and I cannot help it. Anyway, Dan Aykroyd was a taxi or cabbie. Okay, he was a cabbie, and why the other guy did not even know ghosts existed. Okay, people, and he was the father of Penny. Now, the reason all of this happened why Egon, I don't know where he went, I think he dead. I don't know. But why all that stuff never happened was, well, actually he is dead, so they couldn't have brought him back. Rest in peace, Egon. Anyway, basically, what happened was, when they got trapped in that other world, slowly and over time, the world history involving the other Ghostbusters, Dr. Bankman, all of them, they never existed. The ghosts that they brought into the world with their existence, because everything is connected to them. All the Ghostbusters thing was connected to them, which means the ghostbusting was connected to them. There's only one problem. When they start to disappear from their world, whoever they were there changes. History changes because there cannot be two Ghostbusters existing in the same place. So Egon, the mass genius who created all the Ghostbuster technology, could not have existed because there is no technology to create at that time. There is no Slimer. There is... Well, actually, okay, correction. Slimer does still exist, but that's a totally different thing I'll get into later. Now, here's how it works. The whole God thing, the old God, you know, that appears on top of Manhattan skyscraper. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters, well, suck it. Anyway, because I don't have time to go through my hoarse voice and try and do this. Now, on top of that skyscraper in Manhattan, there was an old God. I think it's like Zulu or something, I don't know. Zuthu or whatever. Whatever she was called. I think it was a she. Anyway, I still don't understand that. But I do understand. I just don't understand what the fuck happened. Alright, there's going to be some bad language. Sorry about that. That'll be the last time I say that word, I promise. Alright, so basically, Dan Aykroyd and all them, their characters were completely wiped off the map. So none of that stuff was able to happen. So therefore, time changed and none of it happened. There was no... In order. There was no librarian ghost. For all we know, that's the same place that now houses that museum. Instead of a library, it's a museum. Okay? It changes locations. The whole city gets changed. Now, years later, after all this, supposedly their older characters have become different. They're not the same Ghostbusters because the Ghostbusters they were do not exist in this world. They exist in Hellmanton. Okay? Okay, to put it in simple terms, the Ghostbusters we knew are off somewhere else. They forgot who they were there, and other versions of themselves are trapped in our world. Or something like that, okay? Not trapped, more like they were created in our world instead of having the other ones. Because the other ones are trapped somewhere else and are now citizens of that world. So, while they're the Ghostbusters over there, there are other people who are their exact doubles, leading completely different lives, never meeting. Dan Aykroyd's Cabby character, while he does know about the ghost because that was a wonderful, extremely funny cameo, is because in a little bit of his mind somewhere, these copies do know about their other side. Because, as you all know, in some version of the world, there is actually a myth that says if you have a doppelganger, sometimes you are connected to them, even through dimensions. So basically, he can recall that there is something called an Ecto-5, okay? That's full roaming vapor. He remembered that because someone else in another dimension remembers it. Now, whether or not that's what happened, I don't know. Maybe it was just a funny thing the director decided to do. But that one little scene does not diminish the theory. What does diminish nothing about this theory is the fact that I'm almost right. Now, I don't know the exact science behind it, but if I'm right, then Bill Murray would have become someone who, the exact opposite of what he was, who did not believe in the paranormal at all. Who would have never, at a young, well, technically I think he was like 20 or 30 or 40 something in the movie, and he would have never become Dr. Bankman. He would have become, as we all know, the incredibly douchey guy we all know and love. Now, let's start the fun, shall we? 1, 2, 3, science time! Yay! Alright. If you're just catching this, the world as we know it has changed, right? Now, please leave comments below if you're starting to watch this. I would love to hear from you. Anyway, if you're watching this video, please comment in the below and tell me what you think, and also subscribe. Now that we got that out of the way, I can continue on without worrying about my voice going. Where was I? Okay, so, as I was saying, they all have switched around. Everything's different. So all that stuff could never have happened, meaning no dogs that were demonic, no old god, no Vigo. History was altered completely, so that none of that could ever happen, because the Ghostbusters were the singular thread tying it all together. Tying Manhattan to all the creepy, nasty, gross stuff that happened. Now, just because the trailer did say something about 4 scientists save the world, it's basically paying homage to the fact that they did save the world, but then they were forgotten. Because if you go into a different dimension and you stay there too long, you are actually trapped in that dimension and you are forgotten in your other one. Which means history was rewritten, as I was saying. So, if you're following me so far, if you're not, I'll give a summarization at the end. That's all I can do for you. But here we go. Ready? Here's the continuation. Now, these girls are the Ghostbusters. Maybe they're not the Ghostbusters you remember, but in modern day, now, since none of the other stuff ever happened because of a whole third movie that was never made, but should have been, because it would have transitioned this movie so well. Because it would have showed you that this movie was perfect. It was a perfect transition from them being trapped in that world and being forgotten. And then, in this world, everything's better. Now, whether or not the whole Chris Hemsworth cameo was smart, that's not my choice. Yeah. Or Chris Pratt, I don't know. That's not my business. Thor can do whatever he wants. Or Baby Thor, I don't know who it was. Hold on. Drink from my Ecto 1 cup. Now, let's continue. Whew. First off, discount whatever my mother said, because one, she doesn't care. She was giving answers she thought was funny. Because, if you realize it, she thought they were funny because she doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe in any of the things she said. She was just trying to be funny. She didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know I was making a video. So, don't actually believe anything she said, because she means the exact opposite. That she did think, she actually told me once that she actually thought this stuff was stupid, that we argue over it, okay? So don't discount whatever she said, okay? Just do it. Now, if you ever understand what I'm saying, then let's continue. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm going to summarize it at the end. Okay. Now, just bear with me until then, because I don't know how long this video is going to be. Go over the notes. Yeah, Ecto 1 there. Okay, so, eventually, some higher power out there, I don't know, maybe someone from the ghost world who's actually good, would have realized that there would have been a need for Ghostbusters. Now, maybe because the Ghostbusters don't exist in this world anymore, they would have thought, okay, let's find a way to bring it all together. Maybe like a high council of good spirits. I don't know. Whatever they want to call it. They brought them in by making these 4 women find each other, creating a new Ghostbuster team. We have someone who is basically the new Egon, creating the world's most insane version of the Ghostbusters gadgets, may I add. First off, the pistol ones that she licks, badass. That's not a cuss word, that's just a fact. Come on now, baby. That's just a fact. Now, if you can understand what I'm saying, this supposedly higher power, which I believe there actually was some sort of cosmic intervention, brought together Penny. Now, Penny was an important addition because whenever you think of the Ghostbusters, you think of someone you're barely going to remember, but she was memorable. The Ghostbusters, who no one ever remembers. Now, he was a good guy, he was a Ghostbusters legend, but it's embarrassing to say that no one ever remembers his actual name. Ernie Hudson, however, you'd remember that name, oddly enough. But without his cameo, the higher power would not be able to say, here's what they used as Ecto-1. Now, it may not look like Ecto-1 now, but just wait. And when the car's set, the logo's there, guy paints on the wall, you know, higher power. Higher power from the ghost world saying that we need these people to counteract what's going to happen. Now, just because the movie is not exactly saying there's a higher power out there doesn't mean the theory is diminished, okay? Because technically, without saying it, it could be. If you're following me so far, let's continue. This higher power does all this stuff, gets them ready, gets them set, follows their paths, and then unleashes total chaos to see if they can handle it. Because, as we all know, they're gonna make more. They're gonna make more Ghostbusters movies. They're not gonna stop now. Please, come on now. Here's what's gonna happen. Alright, here's what's gonna happen. The world's gonna get thrown into chaos. They're gonna save the world, but anyone else notice that whole scene with the white hair? Now, I know a lot of you are not gonna get this, but thanks to all my explanation on the dimension thing, I'm done with that. Okay, you can figure out the rest of it on your own. I'm not gonna continue on that. I'm gonna summarize it at the end, and I'm gonna summarize everything else I'm saying at the end, so you don't have to worry about me talking about that anymore. I'll finish it off later, okay? Now, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and theory number 2. Why they had white hair after they came out of the ghost world? First off, this is going to be a really bad example, but anyone ever heard of, I don't know, Disney movie Hercules? Now, while it was an animated movie from Disney about a Greek demigod named Hercules, of course, if we don't know who Hercules is, you've been living under a rock and not gone to school at all. And just because you haven't gone to school doesn't mean you won't know who he is, because you should know at least who Hercules is. Son of Zeus, a demigod who chose to live amongst mortals and save the world. Okay, so basically, minus all that, there's a scene in Disney where he jumps into what I guess the version of the river Styx would be in that movie, a whirlpool. Very similar, if you notice, to the ghost world. Sorry about that. Minus all, of course, the floating corpses around them and all the dead people in the ghost world for some reason. I don't know why they did not have that. Now, there actually is a legend that if you go and you accidentally fall into the river Styx, which is a river that runs through Hades, which is the underworld, you age rapidly because it sucks the life force from your body. Now, you remember that she was tied by a rope. Now, when she grabs the girl, played by, of course, Melissa McCarthy, which is a wonderful actress, she is pulled backwards. By now, their hair is white, though. When they're pulled backwards, it reverses some of the aging, because if you travel upstream with a river, if you're going downstream the river, then you're going to be sucked life force out of you. Now, what happens if you go in reverse? That's right, people, you get life force sucked back into you. However, they were only sucked back in enough to make them young again, but their hair was already permanently drained, so they have white hair. Because that's what you have when you get old, people, or you're bald. And I'm pretty sure that they did not want the actors to be bald. Because let's face it, they would not look that good bald. Okay, no. Now, this video is running pretty long. I don't know if I can get strikes or not, but if I can, I hope I don't. Now, here's how it ends. All right, you get pulled back through this stuff, through all this. The ghosts have gone into this place. I'm guessing it's a weird version of limbo / a prison, because all the ghosts that were in there was bad, or were bad. Blah. Grammar. Anyway, I'm losing all my power to speak, so I'm gonna try and hurry this up. Basically, in the end, when they were pulled backwards, they brought enough of their life force back to be as young as they were, but it did not have enough to turn their hair back to normal, because that permanently was done. That's why they have the white hair. That's why they weren't aged enough. And that's why they were aged when they were going through. If you look through the film and you go to that scene and you slow it down just enough, frame by frame, you can probably tell that when Erin is swimming after her partner, you can tell that if you don't notice just a little tiny bit, there are probably some aging, little bits of aging on her face and skin and stuff where she's being drained of life force. If it's not there, doesn't mean it's not happening. Maybe they just don't have the scene for that. I don't know. But it does fit. No? Yes? Maybe? I don't know. Comment below. And now, from the wacky world of my mind, here's a summary on all I've just said. 1. No one really needs to care what the fandom thinks, what anyone else thinks, or what you think, okay? I don't care what you think. I don't care what I think. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they think. I don't care what the Civil War thinks, because I'm talking about a Ghostbusters Civil War, not actual Civil War, because that was really bad. Now, also not talking about the French Civil War. That was a bad thing, too. Of course, granted, they called it the French Revolution. Anyway, Vive la Revolution. Anyway, here's the summary, alright? Here's the summary for Theory 1. If the third movie had been made, it would have shown they would have been lost in another dimension. It would have been shown that they were forgotten, and if theory holds up, on dimensions, I mean, not on my theory, then they would have been copied in another dimension to replace them. But their lives would be totally different from the ones they led, meaning no Ghostbusters ever existed in Manhattan. Anywhere. In that time. And all the ghosts that happened to be existing before them would not have existed because there would be no one to stop them. And there has to be a balance. For some reason, there is something out there in the Ghostbusters universe that has a balance equation. Ghostbusters to fight the evil ghost. That's what they want, for some reason. That's why I'm saying there's a higher power, is because it makes sense. In a general sense, it makes sense that there would be something out there who doesn't want them to succeed, who creates heroes by messing with the time and blah blah. So basically, in short, if the third movie was made, it would have made this movie an easier transition and made the fans easier to accept it, because it would have shown why the Ghostbusters aren't who they are, and why there was no mention of them in the movie, and why they're a totally different thing, okay? Now, theory number 2, summarization. And this is going to be really short, so try and follow me here. In case you're not understanding me clearly, I'm going to try and talk like an extremely intelligent person, except extremely slowly. Not to be insulting, but so I don't sound like I'm rushing through my words. Are you ready? Exhibit A. The white hair is a result of life force drain. The vortex sucked them into the ghost world, where all these ghostly beings come out. They were partially in the ghost world. Technically, they could have been in some form inside the river Styx, which is where all the ghosts come out and go in. A spiritual pathway, if you will. Now, if you believe this theory, then you will believe that their hair could have been changed to white, and when they were pulled in reverse up the stream, they could have gained back their aging, but by the time to change to normal. Follow that enough? Good. This has been my explanation with a little bit of gameplay in the background. Now, I've been your wolfen host, Alexander Wolfsburg. If you enjoyed this explanation and you enjoy my review, I'm going to do more reviews on movies and things and just talk about some random stuff, including books and more. I'm also going to talk about a lot of fan fictions and all that kind of stuff, and just talk about random stuff that you probably don't even know about, okay? Just follow me on this. I'm going to do a lot of stuff on this channel, and until I can figure out how to make multiple channels off my account, this is the only channel I have. So you're going to see a lot of random stuff on my channel that's all going to be like reviews or gameplay or who knows, okay? Just go with it. Now, if you like this video, hit that like button down there, and if you want to comment, please do, but try to keep the fan fighting to a minimum at least. And if you can, try not to at all, because no one wants to see that, okay? Now, if you like what I'm saying, and you like me, and I'm usually more energetic, and I usually have a better voice, and I usually present myself better, so I'm at my lowest game right about now, but hey, I'm losing my voice, so what can I do? I usually don't cough into the mic as much either. Now, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button right there, and also hit that subscribe button, and join me for more stuff and be watching. I don't post as often as I should, but I'm gonna try to, okay? I promise you all I'm gonna try to. Now, if you don't mind, I've got to go into the gross world. See ya! Oh God! My hair is white! No! What am I? I'm not Polish.